This is the start of my buddy Zach's birthday present. He is one of our 2 consistent dungeon masters for our D&D group, so I thought it would be really nice to make him a nice DM screen. I've loosely based this off of the one used by Matt Mercer from Critical Role, with the addition that I wanted to add a dice tower here. The idea behind the dice tower was that it would have 2 slots on the top, one that would allow rolling behind the DM screen and one that would allow rolling towards the player. So if there's, a roll that he wants to make public right away, he can just roll it in there and be a nice time. For the tower, which will be one of the main components of this project, I've kind of gone with a relatively simple design where I've taken this one layer. I've kind of looked at it as almost like a Batman symbol shape, rotated 9 degrees, and then offset by the thickness of the piece. So in this case, 0.25 inches. And so by rotating it 9 degrees, you get this nice spiral out of it. So the idea is if you drop a die right here in this front slot that I'm kind of highlighting, it will roll all the way down, do full 360, and then come back out this side. So in that way, the side that you drop it in is also the side that it comes out of, so there's no ambiguity there. I've also made this hexagonal piece that will wrap around this tower, make it a nicer shape, I think, to connect to rather than the round cylindrical shape. To do this, I've gone and made another file that I'll pull up quick, just kind of serve as a guide. So what I did was I basically took this same shape and added a little notch onto it. And then what I've done is I've also made this hexagonal shape and added notches every 9 degrees. So what I can do is I can 3D print both of these 2 pieces. And when I go to route it out of the lumber, what I will do is set the angle of the central piece based on where it is on these notches. So your opening will change in reference to where the hexagon is, but the hexagons will all be the same direction to each other. So should be a pretty easy way to set my alignment. And so, we'll give it a shot. I've done one test print of the cylindrical design. So you can see there's 2 slots in the top and there's 2 slots at the bottom. So this one just currently, if you just drop it in, it drops through. I've printed a couple of these and tested them. They actually work really well. So I'm happy with this design, and I'm gonna go ahead and make it out of wood.
I realize I need to install a new saw blade on here. So now that I've got all of the pieces roughly milled up, I'm gonna do a quick layout to see, what it will look like. These pieces obviously are not cut to length yet, but the idea being that we'll have the zebra wood in the center, bookmarked or surrounded by some Purple Heart, and then finally around the full outsides, we'll do some mahogany. Obviously, again, these pieces aren't cut to length, and that's kind of the overall image that I'm looking for. Now that the panels are all glued up And I've cut a small dado in each of the corners. I'm going to drill through the end here so that I can slip the magnet into place here, like so. And then there will be a pin that goes in through the end that I'll glue in place. Should be fairly straightforward. The only thing I want to do is be careful about getting the holes drilled nice and straight. Now, I wonder if I can use my drill guide, but I don't think I can. We're gonna start by drilling a pilot hole smaller than the hole I need. Okay, what I'm seeing here is that I need to make my dado a little bit deeper. So we can go ahead and do that real quick. Okay, so what I have here now is I've got some boards here that are about 35 inches long, probably about 4 inches wide, 3 3/4 wide. These are going to make the walls of the dice tower. So we'll need to, rip these down so that the Purple Heart is even on both sides. Should look really nice. I have some that I did here previously. All right, so looks really nice. These will make the vertical walls that'll hold the dice inside the tower. Before I do that, we're gonna take this mahogany board that I have and actually cut the hexagons out of. So let me show you how I'm gonna do that. So I built this quick jig. It's currently got a piece taken off of it, so I'll add it there, but there'll be another piece that mirrors this one continued across. So what you do is you just slide a piece of lumber in here so that this corner fits down in this cradle here. So then the cut will be done along this face here, and then I'll just rotate it again and keep rotating it, continually fitting the notch into this corner here, and it'll make a hexagon. I've set this fence based on some previous test pieces that I did, so should work pretty easily on the first try. First thing I'm gonna do is re-add this piece of the fence. And then we'll use this little angle gauge to ensure that we have the correct angle, which should be 60 degrees. So I will nail this down. Good enough. This part of the fence doesn't really set the angle or anything, but it does help keep my lumber out of the way. And voila, I'm done. No, this is a test one that I did earlier. The gaps didn't quite close the way I wanted it, so I'm gonna recut it. But I'm going to use it to mark on this board where I need to make my cutoffs. That way I'm not wasting a ton of lumber. So now that I have my first cut that was set at 30 degrees, you can see it fits right down in that notch nicely. And now we just cut the rest of them. So there you have it. Nice hexagon to form the top and the bottom of the individual dice tower sections. So now we'll just do that 4 more times. And so just like that, we've got 5 relatively even hexagons. There's a little bit of play in the jig that I made up, so they're not, perfect. But for my purposes, they are close enough. So the next step, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make a groove in all of these boards so that when these pieces match up, it will sit just slightly inside like that rather than flush like that. So to do that, I'm gonna take my router with what is called a rabbit bit. This bearing here, if I lock this in place, it'll be a little easier for me to show you. This bearing will ride against the lumber, and then this bit cuts out a groove. So if I show it like that, is when that bearing touches the wood, that sets how deep this will cut. All right, so I didn't really need to adjust the settings on my router because I've actually done this once before, as I showed earlier. So you get a nice little groove like that all the way around. And so now these pieces will sit down in there, right like that. All right, let's do that 3 more times. Those of you that are mathematically inclined will have noticed that I said I was going to cut 4, but that I made 5. The 5th one's kind of just an extra. I have an idea for a little stand that I might make out of that one, but it doesn't require the same rabbit cut that the other ones had. Those math nerds who like to count to 5. Says the electrical engineer. Okay, so the next step I had is I need to cut these to both width and length, but we'll start with width to match the dimensions of this hexagon. As you can see, it sticks out quite a bit. One of these magnets is a little off because it gets to the side just a little bit here. But I don't think I'm gonna worry about that. This direction, it lines up a lot better than the other one. But I mean, overall, I'm super happy. You can even use this piece, you know, by itself. That's why I designed it the way I did. Now, when you do half, it goes to the opposite side, but I think it's pretty dope. I'm gonna go eat dinner. Thing about magnet. So I can just magnet it up there to dry.